You know what's funny about life? We make all these plans. We tell ourselves exactly how things are going to go. And then, life just laughs at us. This is the story of Kwame. 23 years old, fresh off a plane from Accra, Ghana, stepping into Seoul with one clear mission: get his engineering degree, make enough money to send back home, and get out. That's it. No distractions, no complications. Love, that wasn't even on the list. But here's the thing about Seoul in springtime. It has this way of making you believe in possibilities you didn't even know existed. The cherry blossoms, the energy, the whole city humming with life. And for Kwame, standing in Incheon Airport with 2 massive suitcases and a scholarship letter folded in his pocket, it felt like the beginning of everything he'd worked for. His mom had cried at Kotoka International Airport back in Accra. Not sad crying, proud crying. The kind of tears that say, "You're doing what I couldn't do." Kwame was the first in his family to study abroad, the first to get this kind of opportunity. And he absolutely knew he couldn't mess this up. The weight of that, it's hard to explain unless you've carried it yourself. So when he got to Yonsei University, registered for his classes, moved into the international dorm, he kept his head down, made friends with other African students, mostly Nigerians and Kenyans who understood the assignment. Study hard, stay focused. Don't get caught up in the Seoul nightlife or the dating scene. Remember why you're here. For the first 3 months, Kwame stuck to that plan perfectly. He'd wake up at 6, hit the library by 7:30, attend lectures, study some more, video call his family back home, then crash. Repeat. His Korean was improving slowly, mostly practical stuff. Where is the bathroom? How much does this cost? I don't eat pork. The essentials. He wasn't there to make a life. He was there to build a future. And then he met Jisoo. Actually, let me back up, because Jisoo's story matters just as much here. Jisoo grew up in Busan with her mother, just the 2 of them. Her father, he left when she was 4. Jisoo doesn't remember much about him except that he made promises he didn't keep. Big promises, about staying, about being a family, about love meaning something permanent. Her mother never remarried, never even dated as far as Jisoo knew. And she raised Jisoo with one very clear message, repeated in 1,000 different ways over the years. Men leave, especially men who aren't from here. They say sweet things, they make you believe, and then they go back to wherever they came from, and you're left picking up the pieces. Jisoo's mother wasn't bitter exactly. She was protective, careful. She'd built a good life for them, worked as a nurse, put Jisoo through good schools, made sure she had opportunities. But underneath all of it was this deep belief that you couldn't really trust anyone to stay. So Jisoo learned to be independent, strong. She studied international business at Korea University, graduated near the top of her class, got a job at a marketing firm in Seoul. She dated occasionally, but never seriously. Never let anyone get close enough to leave. Her friends would tease her about it. "You're 26, Jisooya, you can't be alone forever." And she'd laugh and say something like, "I'm not alone, I'm selective." But the truth, she was scared. Scared of becoming her mother. Scared of trusting someone who'd prove her mother right. Now, here's where their paths cross. It's October. Seoul's in that perfect autumn mode where the leaves are turning and the air has that crisp bite to it. Kwame's been in Korea for 7 months now, and he's finally starting to feel less like a complete outsider. He's even made a few Korean friends, mostly through the language exchange program the university runs. One of those friends, Minyu, invites him to this thing. A global night event at a bar in Hongdae. Live music, people from all over the world, cheap beer. Minyu's like, "You study too much, man. One night won't kill you." Kwame almost says no. He's got an exam coming up. He should be reviewing thermodynamics formulas, not drinking in Hongdae. But something about that night. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was lonely. Maybe he just wanted to feel like a normal 23-year-old for a few hours. So he goes. The bar's packed. Music's loud. Some indie Korean band doing covers of Western songs. The energy's good. Kwame's nursing a beer, talking to Minyu and a couple of other exchange students when he sees her. Jisoo's there with her coworkers. It's someone's birthday and they've taken over a corner table. She's laughing at something her friend just said and, look, I know how this sounds. I know it's cliché to say someone's laugh caught his attention, but that's exactly what happened. It wasn't a polite laugh. It was real, full, the kind of laugh that made other people want to laugh too. Kwame doesn't even realize he's starring until Minyu elbows him. Yeah, you're being obvious. Who is that? Kwame asks. Minyu looks over. Oh, I think that's Jisoo. She works with my sister. You want me to introduce you? And here's where Kwame should have said no. Stuck to the plan. Remembered why he was in Korea. But he doesn't. Yeah, he says. Yeah, actually, that would be cool. Minyu, being Minyu, doesn't do subtle. He just walks right over to the table, and Kwame has no choice but to follow. The whole group looks up. 5 Korean women in their mid-20s, all dressed nice, all eyeing these 2 guys approaching their birthday celebration. Minyu does the introductions in Korean, then switches to English. This is my friend Kwame. He's from Ghana, studying engineering at Yonsei. Kwame, this is Jisoo, Minji, Sora, Hyejin, and Yoonji. They all greet him politely, but Kwame's focused on Jisoo. She's wearing this dark green sweater, and her hair's pulled back, and she's got this look in her eyes like she's trying to figure him out. Ghana, she says in pretty good English. That's West Africa, right? Yeah, Kwame says, and he's suddenly very aware of his accent, his height. He's 6'2", which makes him tower over most people in Korea, everything. You speak English really well. She shrugs. I studied it for work. Then, after a pause, how do you like Seoul? And just like that, they're talking. Minyu gets pulled into conversation with the other girls, and somehow Kwame ends up sitting next to Jisoo, and they're just talking about everything. About what brought him to Korea, what it's like being so far from home, what he misses about Ghana. She tells him about growing up in Busan, about moving to Seoul for university and never leaving. About her work. She does social media marketing for Korean beauty brands trying to expand internationally. Actually, she says, we're trying to break into the African market. Do you think Korean skincare would work there? Kwame laughs. I mean, my sisters back home are already obsessed with K-beauty. They make me send them sheet masks every month. Really? Jisoo's eyes light up. That's actually really helpful to know. They talk for 2 hours, and Kwame completely forgets about his exam, his plan, everything. Because talking to Jisoo feels easy in a way he didn't expect. She's smart, like really smart, but she's also funny, sarcastic. She doesn't treat him like some exotic curiosity, which happens a lot in Korea. She's just present. At some point, her friends start getting ready to leave. Jisoo glances at her phone and looks genuinely surprised by the time. I should go, she says, standing up. Kwame stands too, probably too quickly. Yeah, of course it was. This was really nice. She smiles, and then, and this is what kills him, she hesitates. Like she's about to say something, then decides against it. Well, she finally says, good luck with your studies. And she leaves. Just like that. Kwame stands there like an idiot while Minyu comes over, grinning. So, you get her number? No, Kwame says, still watching the door where she disappeared. Aish, you're hopeless. And Kwame goes home that night thinking he just missed something important. Like the universe handed him this perfect moment, and he fumbled it completely. He tries to forget about it, throws himself back into studying, tells himself it was just one conversation with a pretty girl in a bar, happens to everyone, means nothing. But here's the thing, he can't stop thinking about her, about the way she tilted her head when she was listening, about how she challenged him on some point about Korean work culture, but in a way that made him think, not feel defensive, about that laugh. 2 weeks go by. Kwame's in the library, drowning in problem sets when his phone buzzes. It's Minyu. Yeah, my sister's having a dinner party this Saturday. Jisoo's going to be there. You should come. Kwame stares at the message for a long time. This is it, right? The moment where he decides, stick to the plan, or take a chance on something he doesn't understand yet. He types back, what time? Saturday comes, and Kwame changes his shirt 3 times before leaving his dorm. He tells himself he's being ridiculous. It's just dinner. She probably won't even remember him. But when he walks into Minyu's sister's apartment and sees Jisoo in the kitchen helping prepare food, and she looks up and smiles, not surprised, like maybe Minyu's sister told her he was coming, Kwame knows he's in trouble. The good kind of trouble, but trouble nonetheless. Dinner's great. It's a whole spread, Korean barbecue, kimchi, banchan, soju flowing freely. There are about 10 people there, mix of Koreans and internationals. The conversation flows between Korean and English, and Kwame's Korean has improved enough that he can follow most of it. Jisoo ends up sitting across from him, and throughout the meal, they keep catching each other's eyes. She's more relaxed than she was at the bar. Or maybe he is. It's hard to tell. After dinner, people migrate to the living room, but Kwame volunteers to help clean up. So does Jisoo. They're alone in the kitchen, washing dishes, and it's so domestic it almost makes Kwame laugh, like they're playing house or something. So, Jisoo says, scrubbing a pot, Minyu's sister mentioned you're here on a scholarship. Yeah, Kwame says, full ride, honestly, it changed my life. My family couldn't have afforded this otherwise. She nods, thoughtful. That's a lot of pressure. It is, he admits, and he's surprised he's admitting it. Sometimes I feel like I'm carrying everyone's dreams on my back, not just mine. Jisoo stops scrubbing and looks at him, really looks at him. That sounds exhausting. It is, he says again, but it's also, I don't know, it means something, to be here, to have this chance. I get that, she says quietly. My mom worked herself to the bone to give me opportunities. I feel like I owe her everything. And there it is, that connection, that recognition of carrying weight that other people might not see. They finish the dishes in comfortable silence, then join the others in the living room. Someone's pulled out a guitar, and people are singing terrible renditions of K-pop songs and Western hits. It's chaotic and fun, and exactly what Kwame didn't know he needed. At the end of the night, when people are starting to leave, Kwame finally works up the nerve. Jisoo, he says, catching her by the door. Can I get your number? Maybe we could grab coffee sometime. She looks at him for a long moment, and in that moment, Kwame can see her thinking, weighing something. Finally, she takes out her phone. Yeah, she says. Yeah, coffee sounds good. They exchange numbers, and when Kwame walks back to his dorm that night, he's smiling like an idiot. Minyu, walking beside him, just shakes his head. You're already gone, aren't you? What do you mean? I mean you like her, really like her. Kwame doesn't answer, but the smile on his face says everything. What Kwame doesn't know, what he can't know yet, is that Jisoo went home that night and stared at his number in her phone for 20 minutes before saving it. And that when her mother called the next day and asked about her week, Jisoo didn't mention meeting someone. Because how do you tell your mother, who spent 26 years warning you about men who leave, that you just gave your number to a guy from Ghana who's only in Korea temporarily? You don't. You keep it to yourself and hope that maybe, just maybe, this time will be different. Their first coffee date happens on a Wednesday afternoon. Kwame suggests this cafe near campus, nothing fancy, just a quiet place where they can talk. Jisoo shows up right on time, and she's wearing jeans and a cream-colored sweater, and somehow she looks even better in daylight than she did in the dim bar or at dinner. They order. Kwame gets an Americano, Jisoo gets a vanilla latte, and sit by the window. For the first few minutes, it's a little awkward. Like they both know this is different from running into each other at social events. This is intentional. This is, I want to spend time with you specifically. But then Jisoo asks him about his classes, and Kwame tells her about this professor who's brilliant but completely insane, and she laughs, and the awkwardness melts. They talk for 2 hours again. Seems to be their pattern. Kwame learns that Jisoo wanted to be a writer when she was younger, but chose business because it was practical. That she's obsessed with this one cafe in Busan that makes the best hotagwaja. That she's terrified of dogs, but pretends she's not because her friends all love them. Jisoo learns that Kwame's favorite food is bangku with tilapia and hot pepper. And he's been craving it so badly he's considering trying to make it himself even though he's a terrible cook. That he has 3 younger sisters who call him constantly asking for money and advice. That he's never been in a serious relationship because he was always focused on school. Never, Jisoo asks, surprised. I mean, I've dated, Kwame clarifies, but nothing serious, nothing that. He trails off, unsure how to finish. Nothing that made you want to stay, Jisoo finishes for him. Yeah, he says, looking at her. Exactly. There's something in her expression when he says that, something he can't quite read. The coffee date turns into a walk through campus, then a walk through the neighborhood. By the time they finally say goodbye, it's getting dark, and Kwame's completely forgotten he had studying to do. He texts her that night, I had a really good time today. She responds almost immediately, me too. And that's how it starts.